Hello everybody. Before church this morning Ashley and I try and watch church at 10:30 and be at church just like we would if we were there for real, in person with you all. I was thinking about the word still. The Lord was just talking to me about that word, and it was interesting because actually David in the family talk at church this morning was talking about Jesus calming the storm. And so again, I just felt the Lord was prompting me to talk about that. At the bottom of our garden we have the Biss, and yesterday we were out in the garden recording, and I thought, well, it'd be really nice to do the next recording by the riverbank. But unfortunately what happens is, because our gardens are quite close, we can pick up other people's conversations, so that wouldn't be appropriate to do. However, it is a lovely place down there. We overlook fields at the back and we can have cows in that, and the Biss, I guess, is a mixed blessing because at certain times of the year it floods and we have it halfway up the garden, but that isn't a problem. It doesn't hurt our house in any way. But other times it's very tranquil and flowing very slowly, and we can see fish and dragonflies down there, and it's a very restful place to be. And that brought to my mind the verse in Psalm 23, the second verse. It says, "He makes me lie down in fresh, tender green pastures. He leads me beside the still and restful waters." And I was thinking how important it is that we know those times of rest. My life sort of seems to go from one extreme to the other. As a key worker, I'm working very hard and long hours during the week, and then things tend to stop at the weekends, but not always, because I have to keep connected to what's going on at work. And I was just thinking how wonderful it is, that stillness, that time with the Lord, that time just to be with Him. When we're on holiday in Sicily, we like to get to the coast, and because Sicily is an island, of course getting to the coast isn't too bad at all. We particularly like going to ports and just walking around them, and often on the edge of ports there's some jagged rocks and you look down in the water, and because it's quite warm you can see a lot of fish, and just sitting there and watching the waves lap gently away is again a very restful thing to do. And so another verse that came to my mind was, "Be still and know that I am God." And it's so important in these days when there's so much rushing through my head that I make time to be still. And I particularly like the amplified version of that is, "Let be and be still and know that I am God." And I'm a person who already has a to-do list in my head almost the moment I wake up, and so I have to be careful that I let that be and I spend that time with God and allow Him to speak to me before I start my busy day. It also says in Psalm 37, verse 37, so that's an easy one to remember, "Rest in the Lord and wait patiently for Him. Do not fret because of him who prospers in his way, because of the man who brings wicked schemes to pass. Cease from anger and forsake wrath. Do not fret, it only causes harm." And some versions, again, instead of saying rest in the Lord, say be still before the Lord. And it would seem that the Hebrew word could be translated either way. And so we need that rest. There's a command there, isn't it? Don't fret because of him, because of things maybe other people seem to be getting a better deal. Don't fret. Allow God to do and to carry out what He wants through what's happening. And again in that verse, cease from anger and forsake wrath. Do not fret, it only causes harm. So the Bible's already warned us that fretting doesn't do us any good, but we need to be still, take that time to be still and know that He is God. And I know that sometimes I have to take stock in the middle of a very busy day and just say, no, God's in charge. Things may be coming at me at a great rate, and it seems, humanly speaking, that I can't manage it all. But I have to take that time. It's often just a moment to say, okay, God, you can do this. And just a moment's stillness helps me then to get my perspective back in the day. So I don't know what you're doing today, but I trust that you will take those moments to be still, to rest in the Lord, and to know his presence, and then to get on with whatever God has for you. Thank you, and hopefully see you soon.